Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate their consumers, to grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. We're doing a series of spotlights on remarkable attorneys across the country with a focus on elder law and or estate planning. And joining me on this segment is Amanda Murray. Amanda, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Mark. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Amanda, where are you in the country? And I know that elder law and estate planning is a broad topic. So tell us where you are in the country and the types of folks that you specialize in helping.
Sure. So I am talking to you today from Ann Arbor, Michigan. That is where my office is located. Primarily do elder law and estate planning. Elder law, you are correct, Mark, in that it is a broad umbrella term for many different types of law within that umbrella. So go ahead.
So yeah, what's been like the biggest thing, the most common areas that you focus on now that people have challenges with elder law?
I think the most common areas include transitioning from a home or a hospital setting into a long-term care setting. So when somebody is just not able to live independently in their home anymore, and they are failing due to a mobility issue or a cognitive issue, and they just need some additional assistance, they have been going to the hospital frequently, or just are not able to maintain a safe environment at home. So those individuals who are transitioning to a different type of setting outside of their home. So I do see a lot of people who do that or who need additional assistance to make that happen. And when that occurs, you always have to look to who is going to fund those things, because long-term care is expensive. And many people do not have the funds to maintain themselves outside of their own home due to that expense. So with that relocation, if you will, comes something called Medicaid planning. So we help individuals get assistance from the state to help pay for long-term care costs, or to qualify for special programs to have people come in their home versus making them transition to a long-term care facility outside of their home.
So it seems like a lot of folks, there's not so much awareness around this topic, and that's why I'm really eager to get this information out there. It sounds like folks are almost in crisis mode by the time they reach you. Are there things that they can do to properly prepare and get their financial houses in order before it comes to a crisis situation?
Absolutely. I'm glad that you said that there's not a lot of awareness regarding this area of law. So I went through this personally while I was in law school and had no idea that this area of law even existed. And so the majority of people we see are in crisis. However, if you were to reach out to an elder law attorney well before there's extra need, there are things that we can do to discuss with you part of your estate plan and how you might be able to preserve some of your estate to leave to your heirs and prepare yourself for a long-term care transition should that ever need to occur.
What are some of the big misconceptions or myths that are out there, perhaps, that have kept people from bothering to prepare?
I think people do not plan to fail. I think they fail to plan. Okay. And so a lot of times I hear, I don't have an illness, so I don't need to talk about this. I'm in my 50s. This is really far off for me. My family has a long history of living independently, or we don't have dementia in my family. So there's no reason to think about these things.
Yeah, so they're just kicking the can down the road, and by the nature of the word elder care or even estate planning, people think, oh, I don't have anything to protect. I don't need to do that. I'll do it later. Or elder law. That's not for me. Not till. But it doesn't sound like they're going to save any money by waiting till later. It almost sounds like you should get this prepared as early as possible, even as part of that estate planning and keeping it up to date.
Correct. You actually most likely will lose money if you do not plan ahead of time. I often hear, I don't have an estate to plan for. So I always tell people, you are your estate. So for a power of attorney for medical, though that document needs to happen if you're 18 or older, because accidents happen every day and your body is part of your estate. A power of attorney for medical is an estate planning document. A power of attorney for finances allows someone to transact business on your behalf for your financial matters. So if you have a bank account or income, then a power of attorney for finances is important. And even if you think you have no estate, if you own a home, own a car, those are items that are inside of your estate and can be planned for. So here in Michigan, for example, if you own a home and you're on Medicaid and you pass away, the state can make a claim against your estate, your probate estate. If you own a home here in Michigan, we have a special deed that we refer to as Medicaid planners as Ladybird deeds, where you can name a beneficiary directly on your house. So that means if the owner passes away, the house automatically goes to the beneficiary. The Ladybird deed is an estate planning document. If somebody received Medicaid and had that same house and did not do the deed, their estate, their house would go to probate, and the Medicaid would make a claim against it. So this really could mean the difference between saving a $500,000 home to your heirs versus subjecting it to the claims from Medicaid.
Wow, so many different scenarios that you'd have to think about. So if we were to make this simple for people that just don't even know where to start, let's start with a young couple, maybe just newly married, or like you said, 18-year-olds or those entering college or just out of college. If you could wave a magic wand, Amanda, what would be like the basic steps that you would like to see people take, like getting something estate planning started at a younger age? And when would you like them to progress into having some of the elder law stuff in place? What would you say?
So I would say at 18, when you're starting off in this world as an adult, it's good to get your very basic estate planning documents in place. A power of attorney for medical, a power of attorney for finances, and a will. Okay. Those are the basics. And then as you age or your life changes, so you have children, you get married, or start accruing any type of bank accounts, then revisit those documents because you may need to add more to it. You may need to have a trust. And then as you continue to age, I would say every 3 to 5 years, pull out a seltzer, a glass of water, whatever it is, and have an anniversary. So you're continuously doing this. Sit down and take a look at what they say. Because people come in and out of our lives, we name people in our documents, and we want to revisit that to make sure that they are who we still want to choose to act in roles on our behalf. And again, life changes. So if you had kids and your kids are reaching the age of 18, you may need to redo your documents and then start thinking about, what am I going to do when I retire? And what does that look like? So the milestones, I would say, are when you turn 18, when you have a life event like marriage or children, and then probably every 3 to 5 years after that to be on the safe side.
Sage advice. Amanda, what inspired you to focus on this area of the law? You mentioned in law school, you weren't even aware of it at the time. How'd you get started, and what inspired you to start focusing on elder law?
So I had a father who was ill, and during the time I was in law school, he spent about a year in the hospital. And during that year, I would visit him almost every day. And in that, I started to see the need for advocacy for our aging population. And I started to see even the people who cared for him would, when they saw my law books or heard that I was in law school, they would treat him a little differently. I don't agree with that, but that's what happened. And I would see people in the hospital or the nursing home he was in, just not having an advocate or no one coming to visit them. And so it inspired me to choose this area of law. I learned about this area of law and choose it because I do think that our aging population really needs some good advocates.
I really appreciate that. Amanda, for our listeners and our viewers out there right now, they're obviously in all different age ranges and in different areas of that life cycle. And I'd imagine they all could benefit from a consultation. In the areas that you serve, how can folks connect with you, find you, and learn more?
So feel free to visit our website at www.bassettlaw.com. That's BASSETTLAW.com. We do have some informational videos on our website, as well as some information on different areas of the law. You can also feel free to call our office at 734-930-9200, and we would be happy to set up a consultation for you.
Amanda, I appreciate the time, and I appreciate sharing your insights with my audience today. And I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Great. I really appreciate it as well, Mark.
Amanda Murray. And this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate their consumers, to grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thank you for joining me.